Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Uneducated economist here. So the other day I was listening to a conversation that these two people were having about their share of the U.S. debt. And I went and looked it up on the on usdebtclock.org. And it looks like there's $67,034 per person and $179,908 per taxpayer. And I guess that's the share of U.S. debt. And so I got to thinking about it. It was just like, wow, if that's my share of the U.S. debt, what's my share of the money? Like if you were to divide all the currency out there by how many people there are, what is that share, right? So I went to the Federal Reserve and I looked, and it turns out there's $1.7 trillion worth of Federal Reserve notes, okay? So it's different from like the M1 money supply or M2 with the deposits and the 401ks and all these paper promises and stuff like that. I'm just talking about the actual paper dollars that are in currency, right? I don't even think this is talking about coins. And if you divide that 1.7 trillion by the 328.5 million people there are as far as the population, and like I said, I got these numbers off of usdebtclock.org, it turns out there's a little over $5,000 per person. That's it. Just $5,000 per person worth of Federal Reserve notes, the paper dollars. Everything else out there is a paper promise. It's somebody else promising you to pay. It's an envelope that shows up in the mail that says you have this portfolio. But it's not the actual currency. The actual currency only turns out there's $5,000 per person, and it's $1.7 trillion worth of Federal Reserve notes out there. But then that also got me thinking about like some other stuff, like say cryptocurrencies. And for example, I own 10 Litecoins, right? I bought them a long time ago, and I've just held on to them this whole time, right? And at 10 Litecoins, there's only 60 million Litecoin in existence right now. That means only 6 million people could ever own 10 Litecoins, okay? Some people have a lot more, some people have just a few. But if they were to divide them, I mean, as far as getting 10 Litecoins, only 6 million people could ever have that many at this time. And then in 100 years, when there's 84 million Litecoins produced, only 8.4 million people could ever possibly own 10 Litecoins. Okay, so you kind of think about things like how much is there really? And then I went and looked at silver, and this one really got my attention. I really like the silver one because I went to the U.S. the U.S. GS, and I got that there was 1.74 million metric tons that have ever been mined in the history of time. Okay, 1.74 million metric tons. And if you go and you look, there's 32,150 troy ounces per metric ton. So if you take that number and you times them by each other, you end up with 56 billion ounces. Okay, 56 billion troy ounces have ever been mined in the history of time. And if you take that 56 billion ounces and you divide it just by the population of the United States, just the United States, it turns out it's 171 ounces per person. That would secure the entire world production of history in silver if every American went out and just got 171 ounces. Now, if you took the number and you divide it by the world population of 7.7 billion, it turns out there's a little over 7 ounces that you would need to secure your time in history for the entire world production of silver. That is tiny. Literally, less than $150 can secure your spot in the world history production of silver. That is amazing, guys. All right. So if there was anything out there that you're going to try and secure your spot in, I think silver is a very cheap form. Okay. Uneducated economist. Talk to you later.